We know you've been singing since you were young, so it's been a long journey for you. You've now made a name for yourself there. So tell us about that journey.
The journey has been interesting. The journey has, of course, with anything, it hasn't always been easy, but the journey has been so worth it. I started singing when I was young. I don't even know how old I was, in my grandfather's church. My mom can sing as well, so I got it from her. And luckily at church we had a youth choir, and we were on point. Like, it wasn't like, oh, your children should just sing. It was like, no, this is your key, 8 or not, 8, 9, 10, whatever, but you need to be on key. Mm-hmm. And so I kind of got that start really early on. I had my first paid gig at 4 or 5, my first paid gig. But yeah, it's been interesting. It's been constantly getting to know myself and learn myself and struggling with things, and at times being really transparent about stuff. But it's been worth it. Like, I'm so grateful now. I wouldn't change anything about it.
We saw you featured in a music video recently done by the Beat Project. Tell us about that.
So first of all, shout out to everybody involved with the Beat Project. Who is your producer? Jay, Cody, who's probably gonna kill me for that, General Caution, Busby, Tyler, 1443, Lauren. It was such an amazing project to be a part of, to have so many talented people come together. This is just the beginning. This is just the first music video with all of us. The project is extensive. So stay tuned, because it's gonna be bomb. Like, it's gonna be awesome.
We read an article where you mentioned one of your biggest hurdles or setbacks was yourself. What did you mean by that?
I was a self-saboteur. You know what I mean? I remember one of my friends was telling me, and she was like, do you not think that you can sing? And I was like, I sing. And she was like, no, I don't think that you understand what it's like for us hearing you. She's like, because you do it, so you don't understand. And it really struck a chord with me, because I was like, wow, like, maybe I don't understand that. Yeah, I can, but I can sing. Like, hold on. Like, I'm not, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so I feel like I didn't believe in myself. I didn't feel like I was worthy or good enough, or, you know, every time I would want to do something, I would get shut down, and I felt like it was because I wasn't good enough. But in actuality, it was because I was more than good enough. You know what I mean? And the second that I started unapologetically being like, no, I can sing, and this is what I do, and believing in myself, nobody else's belief, it didn't even matter, because I'm like, all right, well, you don't have to believe, honey, but I believe. I don't blast this person, because I don't think at the time that their intention was malicious, but I sang, and it was an adult in my life, and I will never forget it. I sang at church. I was like 12, and I sang Precious Lord. And afterwards, everybody at church was coming up to me like, you did so good, and you're controlling, you're grin, and da-da-da-da-da-da. And this particular person who as a kid, and this was the adult, I wanted their approval. And he was just like, you're all right. And I was just like, what do you mean? Everybody just told me I did amazing. But it was like, because they said it was all right. All of the praise everybody else had just given me, it was just like, it didn't even matter. And it stuck with me for years. And when I say years, I was 12. I maybe started to break out of that at maybe 24, 25. That's how long that affected me. Because I just was like, what more do you want from me? Like, I'm giving it my all. Everybody's telling me that it's good. And it was almost like,
you don't know the whole story, boy, I wish you knew. Everything you do, I just wanna do it too. I call it payback for all that you do. I call it payback for what you put me through. You don't know the whole story, boy, I wish you knew. Everything you do, I just wanna do it too. I call it payback for all that you do. Call it payback for what you put me through.
Bridges they burn, tables they turn. But when it comes to payback, you only really get what you earn. I thought we were straight like a perm. I had it twisted.
You know, I want your approval, or I need your approval, and so you're so hell-bent on not giving it to me, and it messed me up mentally. And my same friend, shout out to her, she said to me, she was like, I wish you could stop seeing yourself through his eyes. Like, I just wish you could see you how we see you, you know? And yeah, it was just a person in my life that was supposed to just, you know, love me. You were supposed to be the voice of reason. You were how I saw me as a child, you know what I mean? And so then I'm struggling to find confidence or feel good about myself. You're supposed to be the one to reassure me and, you know what I mean, give me strength and encourage me, and you didn't, you know? So yeah, it was tough. It's been years. It was tough.
Yes, please. Is there advice you would give anybody then? Because if you're going through something like that,
yeah,
you don't want somebody else to kind of go through the same thing. So what advice would you give to anybody who's probably doing themselves back?
Get around some people who love you, like, and believe in you until you believe in yourself. You know what I mean? Get around the people who see you for real, and also who love themselves. Because I feel like when you love yourself, you're not threatened by anybody else. So it's okay to encourage somebody else. You know what I mean? Get around Get around people who love themselves and who will in turn love you when you forget to. You know what I mean? Because, you know, you kind of have to fake it till you make it. Like, okay, I don't believe in myself today. And you have that friend saying, no, you can do this and you got this, you're gonna get through it. And then suddenly, over time, it's not an overnight thing, over time, it's like, you know what, I can do this. I got this. Like, I can, you know, until you're at a place where you can do it for yourself and then do it for somebody else. I can sit here now and talk about it, and it's in the past. But it's still crazy to me because it's still, that pain doesn't go away. You know what I mean? No matter how much I talk about it. And talking about it is victory in just talk, being able to talk about it, but it still hurts. You know what I mean? It doesn't go away. It still haunts me. Every time something has gone wrong, my first thought is, oh my God, I still think I failed. You know what I mean? But
so on that note, you know, just aside that, you know, I've never seen.
No, most people don't see this.
I haven't seen this, and this is really what the vote's all about, because we're unlocking the vote. You know, it's local artists who are doing things, and you know, it's just unlocking the vote to these compelling stories, because I find a lot of times that people don't go deep with these stories, and everybody has a story.
Yeah.
Like, who would have known that about you, that you had that when they see you on stage, they didn't know that you had a battle and a challenge to get over all that. So just you being able to go there today, it means a lot.
I mean,
I'm
learning that I love to act, and I like to act because nobody has to see me. And with music comes so much transparency, because even if you don't want it to, something that you're singing or something that you're writing somehow reflects what you're going through. You know what I mean? And I find it's scary to be transparent and be vulnerable, but I feel like it's so necessary, because sometimes this girl sitting right next to me is going through the same thing. And I'm not saying nothing because, you know, I don't want to be judged, and she's not saying nothing because she doesn't want to be judged. And if we would just stop being so judgmental and say, I'm hurting, I'm not okay, they can then say, I'm not okay either. You know what I mean? Yeah. You can think whatever you want, and if I need to cry, I'm gonna cry, and if I need to scream, I'm gonna scream, because I have to do what I have to do for me, because you're not worrying about me. You don't owe me anything, you know what I mean? I have to take care of me. I'm responsible for me. And, you know, in Bermuda, I feel like every kid's parent was like, what happens in these four walls stays in these four walls. But things don't get healed if they're covered up. You know what I mean? You put a Band-Aid on a sore, but eventually you have to take the Band-Aid off, and the air has to get to it for it to really heal. You know what I mean? And so much of the stuff that I heard people going through could have been healed so long ago if they felt comfortable enough to talk about it. But Bermudians are so judgmental. And I don't mean in a sense that like, oh, look what she's got on, da, 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 da. if you see somebody and they're acting a certain way, instead of saying, you know what, that's really weird, let me pray for her, or let me just see if she's all right, if I'll screw her, or you know what I mean? One thing that this has taught me and helped me with is to be less judgmental. You know what I mean? So when I see somebody and I feel like they're going through something, it's more like, I hope she's all right, or you know what I mean? Because everybody's going through something. Everybody's going through something. And I mean, Bermuda being as small as it is, and then now with everything being on social media, people post what they want to post. And so it seems like they have these really cool lives and nothing's wrong with your life. And a few weeks ago, I was supposed to go to Australia and they denied my visa. And I was devastated. Like it was horrible. And I remember I made a live about it. And my dad was like, are you sure that you want to do it? And I was like, yeah, because all of this time we've been getting ready on social media. Man, we won't want to hide. We won't want social media. So I can not show this part. Like, and I said, I was like, of course I'm devastated. My heart's broken. But I wanted to let you guys know what was going on from me. Because when I was preparing and when I was winning and everything was going good, I was always on social media. You know what I mean? And I don't want that. I don't want my page to be the page where it's like, her life's perfect, because my life is not perfect. You know what I mean? So yeah, I feel like Bermuda being so small and then social media just makes it like people don't want to show what they're going through.
So you've been working out, you're looking great, your performance energy is gotten better.
Thank you.
So being that your energy is increasing and stuff, was it a management decision or something that you just decided to do for yourself?
No, I don't have a manager. I actually haven't been working out. I wish I was committed enough to working out. I go for like 2 days and I'm like, I'm not about this life. But luckily, if I switch up my diet, I start to lose weight really fast. And so when I was doing the Color Purple, I started to drink just water. And one of the castmate members, John, used to always bring fruit for me. He always had some watermelon for me or something. And so that's how I kind of got my start, because I was like, you know, it takes a lot out of you. And I need to be able to do what I'm going to do. So yeah, it wasn't a manager thing. I just was like, you know, I need to be better. I need to be on point if this is what I want to do with my life. The first time I performed with dancers, I think was 7-8 years ago, maybe. It was a long time ago. And it was for a birthday party. And I just was like, we need to do something different. Like, it has to be dope. And it like, how come they're doing it away? How come we can't do it her? And so I got some dancers together, and I was like, listen, we're not getting paid, but it's gonna be fun. Can you work with me? And so we did this birthday party and sang and danced. It was my first time doing it, and I fell in love with it. And I feel like people always, every time I perform, they expect Beyonce, but it's because not only is she performing and dancing, but she can sing as well while she's doing it. And I love that, because she's dancing, but she's not losing her breath, and you know what I mean? And so I was like, I can do that. If she could do it, how come I can't do it? And so I tried it, and it worked, and people loved it. We did Evolution in 2014. I had like 26 dancers. And I mean, like, even now when I watch the footage, just to see people's faces, like, hey, where'd they come from? You know what I mean? Just to give people a show, like, I can stand at a mic and I can give you some Whitney, and you know, I can do all that, but I can do this too. Yeah, the Evolution outfit was my first real like bodysuit outfit, and I remember I had to get sewn into it because I'm busty, and I was like, I need to be wearing like 5 bras because I do not want the boobs pop out, and I need to be on point. And my cousin, as soon as I got it on, my cousin Nini, she was like, you look so sexy. And I was like, I do? Because this is my big cousin that I'm like looked up to for years, and I'm like, you think I'm sexy? Like, okay, cool. And it just gave me such a confidence boost. And even now when I look at pictures, I was bigger then than I am now. I was a thickums, but I felt so beautiful. You know what I mean? And I kind of just was like, well, if I feel like this, it's going to reflect on stage. And it did. And it was, I mean, people still every year when I go to Evolution, people are like, are you performing? Are you gonna be on stage this year? Every year since then. So yeah, that's how that happened. Shout out to Nene because she made me feel sexy.
Have you had any negative social media impacts with any people or anything like that? And if so, how did you react to it?
I laugh because I'm just like, okay, girl. Like, you know, when I won Bermuda Idol, someone was like, I don't think she should have won. And I remember I said to her, I was like, well, opinions are opinions and facts are facts. And the fact is, I am the 2014 Bermuda Idol, so I'm sorry that whoever you were rooting for didn't do it, but these are the facts, and nobody cares about your opinion.
Opinions didn't count.
Yeah, your opinion doesn't count, because I'm still, who cares about you? You know what I mean? And half the time it's some random person who is not going to say it to my face, probably didn't even think I would see the comment. And that, funny enough, that same exact lady who wrote that comment that I couldn't sing and I didn't deserve to be in, I sang at an event that she had not too long ago. So, I mean, but you know what I mean? You have to take it with a grain of salt, because somebody's always, in this business, somebody is always going to have an opinion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you have to take it with a grain of salt. 9 times out of 10, if somebody's on stage and they've had a you know, slip up or somewhere in the performance or something was off, they knew. I don't need you to remind me, because I'm aware. If you're aware, I'm definite. Nobody's more aware than me. So I don't need you to remind me, especially in a negative way. You know what I mean? Because you're not on stage doing it. Every year I go to Bermuda Idol and people are like, I sit in the audience. And so I always hear like the commentary and da-da-da-da-da. And I'm just like, I remember one, it wasn't this year, but last year, I turned around and I was like, well, you got on stage and do it. You know what I mean? Because people always have these opinions. You know what I mean? I'm not coming to the lawyer's job and telling him how to practice law, and I'm certainly not going to the doctor's office and saying this is what you need to prescribe.
What do you think we need to make it mainstream coming out of Bermuda? Because of course we'll have probably one person make it mainstream out of Bermuda, and a few people have said that person hasn't reached out to anybody. That person could have reached out to people and helped people. But what do you think we need to do for ourselves, or what needs to happen for that shift to happen, when we finally get 1 million views, or finally really touring the world and doing what mainstream artists are doing?
I think that Bermudians need to stop supporting Bermudians, to be quite frank. When I was in college and 2 Chainz was Titty Boy, he was popping in Atlanta, where he's from. And they went hard for him. If you go to Florida, Whoop and Mook Boy are huge. You know who Whoopie is?
Yeah.
See, you do.
Yeah.
2 years ago, I would ask, do you know who Whoopie is? There you go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But in Florida, in Orlando, all you heard is Whoop. They support the earn. So by the time, you know, Future even was huge in Atlanta before he was huge around the world. And so now, he's always rapping Atlanta, because Atlanta rapped him. And I feel like Bermudians, they don't, you know, if you're coming to a show and, you know, Bermudians are opening up for this person, you're not coming early to hear the Bermudians and support the Bermudians. Or when the Bermudians are on stage, you're like this. And then this famous person comes behind me, and she's probably off key and not even really doing what she's got to do right, but you're acting crazy and screaming. And then in 3 years, when I'm in her shoes, you're going to want to scream for me and you're going to want me to put Bermuda on, but you didn't put me on. You know what I mean? You didn't believe in me before I laid the groundwork and did it myself, you know?
Yeah, I think Calibut has that same attitude, and you mentioned that, you know.
I remember somebody said that to me, and I said, I don't blame him.
To be honest, if he put it that way, when you think about it, I don't blame him either.
Yeah, I don't blame him, because I mean, no, you like me, but I'm the same Livy from years ago. Like, nothing has changed. I'm the same me. But no, because this person said they like it. Now you like it?
Yeah.
I feel like people don't hate that you're doing it, that is being done. They just hate that you're doing it. You know what I mean? And we have this kind of mentality where it's like, well, she can't go further than me, so I have to knock her down a few notches because this is where I'm at. So if she's hurt, yeah, that's all right. Her even, but don't let her get her. You know what I mean? Because we all come from the same place. And so if I somehow make it further, it's what, a reflection on you in some crazy way, but it's not. Love starts with you. I feel like it's so cliche. I used to say, I'm like, that's so corny and cliche, but it's true. Like, I mean, the second you love yourself, my relationship with myself changed, my relationship with my family changed, I'm in a healthy relationship now, because the second I started loving me, everything started to fall into place. And then, like I said, if I love me, I'm not afraid to push somebody up or open a door. If I'm catching the elevator up, I can send it back down because I love me. And I know that whatever is for me is for me. So you can jump through hoops, you can scale buildings, but it's never gonna be for you if it's for me. You know what I mean? Comfort, and I kind of want to add confidence to that. Confidence is only offensive to those who don't possess it. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at confidence is only offensive to those who do not possess it. So if somebody's telling you you're cocky and you know you're not, I'm not cocky, I'm just confident. And maybe you need to work on your confidence, because then you won't be offended by mine because you have your own. You know what I mean? And support. I mean, you can people, if they want to support you, they're going to, and if they don't, they're not going to. Take pride and appreciate the ones who do support you. My Nana, Ruby Smith, has been my biggest supporter, and my Nana's a reverend. And I remember I told her I was singing at a drag show, and I said, I completely understand if you do not want to come. She didn't tell me, but when I stepped up on that stage, my Nana was there. So, my Nana and my aunts, if nobody else is in the audience, I know without a shadow of doubt that they're there. You know what I mean? And it may be 4 of them, but that's my support system, and that's who keeps me going. Because now, everybody else is, the support of more people is awesome, and it's like a cherry on top, but I've always had their support. You know what I mean? So appreciate the ones who support you now, and appreciate the support that you get later, but never forget who supported you first.
And what do we have to look forward to with Olivia Hamilton?
A lot. Just stay tuned. I feel like this has been a year of test, a lot of big test. And the bigger the test, the bigger the reward. And so I can't wait to see what God has in store for the future, because right now he is blowing my mind. So I'm just like, okay, but what's next, God? Let me strap on my seatbelt, because clearly right now we're on an upward trajectory, and I just hope that it keeps going that way. But even when it doesn't, I'm gonna bounce back and get back up and keep it moving.